Until we go live. It always echoes a little bit, but I got my notes lined up, ready to roll. Okay, here we go. Until we go live. It always echoes a little bit. Boom. Okay, so we are currently live streaming. Welcome to the Women in Hip Hop Wednesdays podcast. I'm looking down here, but I need to look up at y'all. Welcome back to the Women in Hip Hop Wednesdays podcast. I'm your host, your music midwife and nerdy hip hop homegirl, Coco Peila. I am an MC, songwriter, record producer, singer. A music midwife is like a songwriting coach, but better. I'm all that and a bag of chips. And the MC is the part that really qualifies me to take you on this journey. So hold a second. I got my notes because I'm gonna give y'all the scoop, the ice cream scoop, and then I'm gonna be out. Let's go. You ready? So maybe you're wondering why I'm here in the old podcast setup. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but we now record Women in Hip Hop Wednesdays at the university. They have a dope podcast set up, and I go there once a month and we record all the episodes for the month. That was some really good business coaching advice I got from a mentor, someone I consider a mentor. Boop, 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 boop. Blow. Oh my God, my brain. So we do that once a month, and then we get to premiere these episodes once a week for you. And I'm not necessarily having to live stream, but with the war that's been waged on Iran and with the unfolding of the Epstein files and the revealing of what's been in them, a lot of it redacted, a lot of it missing. And just with the way, what's been revealed about OpenAI, ChatGPT, Claude, just ICE, and the way that this like muzzle speed media ambush of our minds, of our spirits, of our hearts, of our eyes has been going, I just felt like the episode that we were going to drop today, that's already edited, big shout out to Q Valentine at the university who records our podcast episodes and edits them. I was like, yo, Q, I need to look over this episode a couple more times before we drop it. And we'll be just dropping them in a little bit of a different order. But something just didn't feel right in my intuition and in my spirit about, let me make sure, give me 1 second. Let me just make sure that the audio is audioing. Because there is, are we good? Yes, okay, I'm using the right mic. I just want to make sure that I'm on the 4K camera mic and not the laptop, the 2018 laptop speakers as the mic. But yeah, I don't know, y'all, call it I'm a Cancer rising, call it I'm an empath, call it compassion, call it being oversensitive, call it human, call it woman, whatever you want to call it or classify it as. I just was feeling overwhelmed. I think particularly last night, and I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I went on a bit of a doom scrolling I've been promoting, as y'all know, I have an event coming up, Altars for Our Inner Children, on the 21st of March here in NYC, and we're live streaming all over the world. It's incredible. Go to cocopeila.com/altars, ALTARS. You can look at a little promo video that I popped down on the YouTube channel. It's on my website. It's everywhere that you go. So if you want to learn more about it, there's a whole landing page, there's tickets. And it's an incredible event. But because of that, I myself have been on social media more often. And I hate to admit this. Well, I don't know if I hate to admit it. I really hate social media. Anyone close to me who knows me knows I've actually never liked it. Have I been addicted to it at different points? Yes. Have I gotten pulled into it? Yes. But I've never liked it. I've always described it as like kind of making me feel high. I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm what they call in the Bay Area square ass poodle. Proudly, I don't know why. I'm like, well, poodles are cute. I know some people would be hella offended to be called a square ass poodle, but I'm like, yes, but I am a square ass poodle, and like a cute square ass poodle at that. No, but I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink. I'm not really into, like pills or that kind of thing. And that's no shade on other people who have a different relationship with substances, psychedelic or otherwise. It's just that, like, it's been a long time. I stopped smoking, maybe like tried to quit all the way in high school and then like started smoking a little bit. Like maybe I smoked the last time I smoked, I was 19. Last time I drank, I was probably about 19. Nope, I was 23 the last time I drank. I had a couple sips of what is it with the orange juice and the champagne? I want to say Bellini, but it's not. Whatever that thing is. And my cheeks got all flushed and I was like, all right. And I gave it to my little brother. And that was that. But for me personally, on my healing journey, just given the trauma load that I had, it just wasn't, it was not a good thing to put in the mix. And the healing that I was doing was just outweighed the ways that the substances were like kind of getting in the way of me getting my cry on or my heal on. So I say all that to say when I started kind of having a smartphone, I was kind of late to the game. People used to tease me about that. And I started having like social media and all that stuff. I could tell immediately, even in high school when MySpace came in my senior year of high school, even then I was like, something's like, I could just feel it. It was like a higher level, almost like when you zone out in front of the TV or the movie screen, but it was like at a higher level. And then later learned about how when you're looking at screens, your brain releases dopamine and that, can give you that chemical, like anesthetized feel. Anyway, so I really don't like social media for that reason. I also really like human beings being in person. And I feel like, especially with how much capitalism has sped up, I want to be around my people because most of us are working and parenting and juggling different things and taking care of elder parents and handling our own health issues. So I want to be around people as much as possible. And I find that the quality of my life always goes down considerably, my vibration, my clarity, like all that. So anyway, I was posting and responding to messages and letting people know what's up with the raffle for the event, and got pulled into like a long ass doom scrolling episode, and went to sleep later than I wanted to and woke up and I was just like so dysregulated. And I mean, there's a lot going on in the world, so it's okay for me to be responding to it, but it's just the amount of like urgent, heartbreaking, frustrating, devastating awful information that you get exposed to, or that I get. And sometimes I'm like, well, should I be reposting this? Because I want people to know about how to take action, or I want people to know about, I try to be thoughtful, like, okay, let me post hopeful things, empowering things like footage of our ancestors, footage of Black beauty and Black brilliance and Black creativity, but also wanting to be like, okay, here's an action you could take. And I think um, I just woke up thinking like, yeah, I don't want to post a super polished video of that, like premeditated video. It was a really dope episode. You will still see it. Like I said, big shout out to Q Valentine. I just wanted to tap in with y'all and just see like, how are y'all doing? What's on your heart? Um, how are you coping with all of this? Um, are you making sure that you tap in with the people that you trust? Who's in your support system? Like, are you bringing this to a support group or a grief group or a, therapist or EMDR or breath work or dance class, or to the ocean, to the park, to the grass, to the ancestors, like to your prayer circle or your ceremony or ritual? Like, how are y'all doing? um, I've heard a lot of USers, not just white USers, not just middle class USers, but folks who are born and raised in the US, talk about the world is ending. The world is ending. And the world is not ending. Capitalism is just collapsing at a faster and faster rate on more and more people. And it's been collapsing on enough people across enough identities that it's undeniable. And I think particularly it's undeniable for people born and raised in the US, because we have very large blind spots around reality in the world. We have been systematically kept ignorant, and also have kept ourselves ignorant too. It's like it's a conversation, but we've been brainwashed, and also our media is has set up smoke and mirrors, kind of like the Wizard of Oz, to make us believe that we live somewhere in a reality that's like disconnected and or superior than the rest of the world. And again, I say this almost every episode. This is by no means a fully, fleshed out, complex, comprehensive analysis of history, of systemic oppression of the world, but it is part of as much of my perspective as I can manage to articulate in this moment. And because of that, it's important. And I know that it's a conversation, right? Hip hop is a conversation. So what the fuck is you? What the fuck is you saying? This is what I'm saying, but we can have a conversation and a dialogue, and we can educate one another and paint a clearer picture of reality together. Well, I was born and raised in the US, and I'm really blessed to have been raised with elders and family members, not just elders who were born outside of the US, and some family members who have lineages connected to this land, the Americas, indigenous folks to the Americas. And that doesn't make me morally superior or smarter about this shit. But what it has done for me is given me a perspective outside of what I would have had if those people didn't love me and scoop me up and call me their own and claim me. Oh my God. And claim me as their own. Particularly, I want to give a big shout out to the Vega family. Puerto Rico, as I understand it from my elders, is actively being colonized by the US. But there are some of my elders that talk about PR, and I'm not the expert. or the representative, but that talk about PR as a separate país, like a separate country, even though it is a part of the United States. Um, and I think that growing up with those folks modeling family and community and love and modeling that like all children are our children really imbued me with a sense of belonging in the world and also a sense of that love and that care and affection for other human beings, no matter what. Not really having to know them. And those are not the only folks, but those are the folks who came to my head who had a perspective outside of the dominant US perspective that I had been exposed to as a young person. You might be like, okay, girl, but well, how is this Women in Hip Hop Wednesdays? Well, first of all, hip hop is everything and everything is hip hop. Um, like we use hip hop. I think of hip hop like a needle that can drop on any record, and that record could be politics, it could be world history, it could be um, oppression and liberation theory, it could be personal narrative, it could be the personal as a political, it could be climate justice, it could be cooking in the kitchen, it could be family, like whatever the record is, like hip hop is a needle that could be dropped on any record. And I think that's part of what makes it one of the most powerful technologies for liberation and communication of ideas and information. So to me, like I I choose to draw on the culture as a practitioner of the culture to address everything. Um, so like I said, the world is not ending, but the illusion, as many of us have been trained to see it or know it or think about it or perceive it, that illusion is falling away, and we're seeing the truth of systemic oppression and the truth of the intention behind these systems of oppression. And we're seeing that with our president. I wouldn't actually call him my president. I didn't vote for him. And he is a criminal. I don't think he got into office legally, but that's also neither here nor there. Um, you know, Black, Indigenous, Brown, LGBTQ, poor, working class, women, different folks have been, you know, sending up smoke signals since the very beginning of this project, the United States, um, and the way that it's been organized in a way where, as far as divide and conquer, so that enough of us had enough crumbs that were bigger than the other group that we, in one way or another, were traumatized enough to look away and believe that we were separate and that things weren't happening to us because we had worked harder, we deserved it, or we hadn't broken the rules, or whatever the case may be. And I think we are waking up to it. But from one born and raised in the US girly to my fam out there, like y'all, like the rest of the world, a lot of the world, the majority of the world has been living with a clearer sense of reality for a long time. And it's important that we understand that, yes, this destruction and this war that's been waged on Iran, that the genocides that are happening across the globe, a lot of them in our name, a lot of them incited and funded by our government that has taken our tax dollars. Um, like we are waking up to it, but folks have been having to live under the terror and the reign of US imperialism, and that has quote unquote benefited us in material ways and protected us. And I say quote unquote because if one person on our planet is being mistreated, oppressed, exploited, harmed, it can't be good for any of us. And there are different ways to live. And this one might have to crash and burn. And unfortunately, it's it's falling on so many of us, so many of our family members and our neighbors. And I think it's our job to make sure that as it collapses, it does not fall. We try to have it fall on as little, as small amount of people as possible. None if we can help it, right? But we have some folks who are far gone, far confused, and really lost in their greed and their hatred and their toxicity, and they're causing harm at a fast rate that's hard to keep track of and hard to organize around. I wanted to say that I was in Queens yesterday, and I was waiting at the bus stop, and I was in a part of Queens in Astoria where there are a lot of folks, immigrant folks and first generation folks from many different nations. And I saw these two boys come around the corner. They were maybe like 9, 10, 11 max on like a motorcycle, no adult in sight. And they had this look of joy on their face, and they was riding, one was behind the other, and they rode past, and I was like, this looks like some shit that I've seen when I was traveling in the Caribbean or in other countries. And there was something about it that just made me think like, yeah, but like, we're gonna figure it out, not to say that what's happening is not horrific, but like, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna make it work. We can't be so fucking fragile and oh my God, things are changing, things are unstable. Yes, they've been changing and unstable. And many of us in this country have not been able to live a life where we haven't known that. But, still there's a lot of denial and dissociation that goes into it. So I wanted to invite you to do something with me. I wrote down a list of 10 plus hip hop songs that I love to play when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when that barrage of like horrible messages comes from every corner that makes me feel like these people are this person in the White House and his administration are larger than life, and are my phone's ringing. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but when I start to like feel that pressure, like, oh my God, they're all powerful, everything's going to what they want us to think and feel, so we're like shut down. Hold a second. Oop, okay, call you in a sec. Call you in. Um, when I start to feel like that, that's when I write. I take out my pen, I go to my rhyme book, and sometimes I just go to hip hop. There are so many ancestors and elders and peers who came before us and stand beside us that have the medicine. We have the medicine in ourselves, and we cannot let these fools steal our joy and shut us down and deactivate us. So this is a short list in no specific order, in no specific timeline. I didn't do a deep dive of like the first ever, well, there is one of the first ever songs that speaks out about oppression and has a socio-political analysis, a particular one. But I didn't do a full comprehensive one, and I didn't do only women, but I wanted to share mine with you. And I want you, when you watch this video, to go into the comments and write down 10 of your favorites that help you know that life is worth living. 10 hip hop songs to reconnect you with your power, joy, hope, strength, humanity, and with other people. This is part of our inherent humanness. We thrive in community and connectedness. So 1, Kendrick Lamar, All Right. 2, UNITY by Queen Latifah. 3, Rhapsody, Nina. 4, Erykah Badu, The Healer. 5, The Message, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. 6, Public Enemy, Fight the Power. 7, Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar, Freedom. 8, Tupac, Keep Your Head Up. 9, Miss Lauryn Hill, Everything is Everything. 10, the artist formerly known as Mos Def, who goes by Yasin Bey now, New World Water, and you can find it under that older name. It's from the album Black on Both Sides. Also Umi Says, but where was I? 11, Knowledge of Self. It's called KOS, Determination, Knowledge of Self, Determination by Black Star. That's Talib Kweli and Mostef, aka Yasin Bey. And 12, because I love that number. That's the day I was born, on the 12th, Freedom Time by Miss Lauryn Hill. So there's so many more, but I just want you to know that you are not alone. You are not alone. Do not let these fools make you think that you're alone. And when you feel that way, you are not wrong for feeling that way, but like, go get your people, get your resources. There's still so much abundance. There's so much resistance. These fools are a very small group of people who have the ability to, like the Wizard of Oz, project themselves out to be larger than life and all powerful, all seeing, all knowing, and they're not. They're just not. We are the majority, and it's our birthright to live connected in joy and peace, in a child-centered society that protects children first and isn't using war as a weapon, and sexual assault and domestic violence as a weapon, and all these different things as a weapon against the people, against people connecting and living in a harmonious society where folks share the resources and aren't exploited. It is possible. I know it seemed like utopian, but it's actually totally possible. So what are your top 10 songs? Write them in the comments. Let me know, because I'm going to make a playlist and I'm going to put it, I don't know, SoundCloud, somewhere where they're not using the streaming money to like harm people or fund horrible things. And then I'll share it next week in the YouTube description. Hip hop is a conversation. So what the fuck is you saying? What are you saying? How are you listening? What's the call? What's the response? And in that conversation, that call and response, like, what are you finding about yourself that you love? What are you finding that you want to like release, that you want to grow into? I love y'all. For real, for real. Next week, we'll be back to the polished, shiny, super edited version. But I just wanted to tap in with y'all and let you know, like, I'm a real person. I'm here with you. And this shit is many, but like, we can make it through. We just gotta